Woo! Tyrese Maxey, go Sixers. Rocco's pumped for it. He's farting enough. It smells awful. Rocco. All right, let's talk about the markets. Fed day, a huge upset win last night at the Garden. Can't believe it. Tyrese Maxey. All right, so today was Fed decision day. S&P closed down about 35 bips. Let me share my screen. Pretty interesting reaction. Typically after the Fed has their press conference, you get the move after the announcement. They've been obviously unanimous decision to keep rates unchanged, and then signaling that they're not going to hike anytime soon. That was enough to lift markets, and then sold off pretty. I don't want to say ugly, but we closed down 40 bips. It was a pretty sharp sell off from the highs about 3 o'clock after he was or during Powell's speech. All right, so let me pull up the screen here, share screen, and see what was actually moving markets today. On Fed decision day, biotechs, regional banks, and uranium fall by around 3%, while oil and Bitcoin fall by the same amount. For the mathematicians out there, that would be 3%. It would be a fall of 3%, same amount. All right, so let's take a look. Let's see if there's any triggers. Markets, like I said, just really fast zooming out. Well, we'll get into these, but up today was biotechs, regional banks, uranium, insurance, which I'm personally been suffering with. I'm long travelers, and it did catch a nice bid today. So did it hold on? A lot of things went negative towards the close. A lot of things did not hold their gains. Travelers held on to a 0.5% gain. The subsector up 1.2, and utilities up. The big downslides was oil, Bitcoin, commodities as a whole. Cannabis gave back quite a bit of their gains from yesterday. Some of the names were down massively, but all from their huge gains yesterday. And the oil and the gas companies, we were talking about this yesterday, saying that be careful, see what price you can get, because it might get a little bit cheaper. And that's exactly what happened today. That continued momentum by about 2.2% cheaper. So that was XOP. So let's take. So real fast, let me boopity bob. You get to see this one more time. You get to see that one more time. Uno momento, por favor. All right, so here was the SPY. This was the day. We peaked right here at 3 o'clock. This orange line is VWAP, volume weighted average price, very important number. We were 500.8 is basically what the market was trading at going into the decision. So 500.8, we rally above that, way above that to 508, which has been my not magic place for the market to be for the next week or so, to hover around here, but it's a 21 exponential moving average, as much as a lot of other meaningful numbers. 14-day, 50% RSI. It's just stasis for the market. It doesn't say we have to be there, but it is probably going to be magnetized to this level in one way or the other. So we got to that level today at 3 o'clock, and then an ugly sell-off once we pierced through that 503 level, and then we ended up closing at 500. Qualcomm is the big earnings after hours. I don't even know what time they are. Let me see if they're doing it already. Let's see if they can help the market. Yeah, it looks like a beat. It looks like they're up 4%. It looks like after hours. So we'll see. But all right, going back to the doc and seeing what moved today. So first was biotechs. I was in biotechs, and it's funny, when the option ended, I had said to myself, now if these things run, you're not going to be monetized off of it just due to the strategy. And that's what happened here. We got a low, hands got shaken out, such as myself, although it was on expiration, so I just didn't renew the trade. It was actually down here a little bit ago. So here, remember that wall of support, this 200-day moving average, like really just a wall down here. This 82, I'll call it 82 half. It barely broke below that 2-3 times. Sometimes the magic number is 3, and then up and away, 81 to 87. Now you were, at shorter term targets. I wouldn't have 93 in the cards. I don't think this is that environment right here. I actually think that the market only has a couple more days of exuberance on the more bullish side, and then I think we have to deal with a little bit tougher times. Not anything horrendous, but I do think we get a little bit of basing to a 2 to 5% pullback over the next month or so. So I don't think right now is a time I want to be pouring into XPI, but this could definitely run for a couple more days. But yeah, it's at a critical point here, because now it did the easy lifting, as it were. Now to get past 89 would be a little bit difficult, but Let's see how. Okay, so another area, I thought insurance was next. Another big area that ran today was regional banks. Regional banks up 3.1%. If you recall, this was on our loser list, I believe, or maybe it was on the winner list yesterday. Obviously, I can find out. But so yeah, this was on the winner list right here. Big gap up, big run up 3%. Let me look at this candle here. I don't love it here. I just think it's range bound to begin with, and I don't think it does much more getting past 49. So 49 bucks. So for 75 cents, not in it for me. But big gainer today. Uranium, one on the biggest down mover list. Now the biggest mover up list. So that's what you call volatility. So uranium. I've been a better buyer of this. I like this one. Still, the trend is your friend with this. I think it's higher, even though it topped a while ago, but in February 1st. But this is one of the few commodities that are still, doing very well. This looks good. I mean, any entry below 29.35 would have been great. Looks pretty good. I think the target could be 32. I think this, you don't need the market to really help with this. So this could be a nice, provide a good uncorrelated trade in terms of portfolio asset allocation. I like this one in terms of target, maybe 32. Maybe that would be, is that inside? Yeah, be just inside the 52-week high. Maybe a little too cute. But looks good for the long side. If you can stomach the volatility, it's on the big loser list. It's on the big winner list, back to back. It's putting up 40-point games or 47-point games like my boy, and then doing something very not like my boy. Very happy to have Tyrese Maxey. All right, insurance, like I said, I've been suffering in a constituent of this. Travelers, one of the stronger names in here. They've had a collapse, on their earnings, and then it's just been not doing well ever since. And the insurers, looks like investor dollars have kind of fell out of love with this. Do we think it's just getting started or done? Unfortunately for me, I think in the position, it could have another day or two because the momentum is with it today. But this has a lot of, there's a confluence of averages, similar to what I said, a market being married to that 508 level in SPY, similar for this, right around 49, literally like 49.30. So where all these lines are converging and you're not really getting massive vol expansion. So I think it kind of, not crapped its brains out, but I think it kind of did the work of these lows here. This isn't a super high volatile, high velocity moving subsector. So it kind of moves, it dances to the beat of its own drum. I think that might be it for the run, unfortunately. And if you have a massive, has another gasp up, I think it could get to 50 half. But I unfortunately think that was the run. So I'll have to recheck and look at my traveler's position. It's May, could be June expiration. So, but might provide for an exit actually. Let me look at that chart right now. Actually, travelers looks heavy. Looks like there's above, resistance up ahead. I'll have to look. Stinks. All right, utilities, a big mover up. They're buying utilities on Fed Day. 1.1% move, which is big for utilities. Nice looking chart here. Nice looking chart. 52-week high is back here. May 10th, a year ago, it was 69.5. Could we do this whole thing again? It looks a little done to me. I know you can sometimes buy the breakouts like we had yesterday on the cannabis chart, and we'll look that up in a little bit. But sometimes they are, in terms of volatility and expansion, is priced in. So for a reason, the MSOS looked like it could go again 20% today. But what happened? It got through those levels around that cushion, and then it came back lower. For this, I don't have crazy upside for XLU. I would say it's 68 to begin with. And today wasn't a massive thrust that throws me off of that thesis. All right, big down moves. Commodities are slipping. USO. Remember what we said. You want to get in these spaces. And then when it's time, you won't want to. Right now is that time. Oil down a big 3%. I think crude is actually trading under 80 bucks. Yeah, 79 bucks. Brent is 83.5. So these things are on sale. Let me look at the chart here. In terms of the setup, chart is looking good. I'm looking at this black line, the 200-day moving average up. The high is put in literally less than 3 weeks ago for USO. It was 83 bucks. a quick drop to where we are at 76. Quite a fall here. The 200 days over here. I like it for a pickup just because I like the support. I'm looking at a couple of things, like longer term moving averages and different time frame Bollinger Bands. I like the support it has around 76. So the fact that it's right there here, you could have another couple of days because this momentum is pretty bad with the energy. But this is the lowest the RSI's also gotten on, call it 1, 2 occasions. It did get a little bit lower December. That was all the way down here. But that was a flat to downtrend. Here we've been rallying for goodness sakes, and we just had a 52-week high after we beat that. So if you could stomach the volatility, I would buy. These things don't set up and you pick the lows, of course. Always feels like a falling knife. Bito, a big move lower, down 3.6%. Not meaningless. Bitcoin, under 60K. So this one still rallying 200-day. You're approaching oversold, which it did do back in August of last year. This one might have some hard times. I don't like the momentum. Definitely don't like the momentum on this. If something's looking like it's out for week after week after week, there could be something wrong. It's still beating a SPY in terms of relative strength since Halloween. I would give this a couple of days to settle in, honestly. Bito, the stock, was down more than this today. I have Bito down. Bito's down 3.6%. Give this a little time to settle. I think this just could. I don't know. It feels like it wants to visit this 20 potentially, and that would mean like another 10% for Bitcoin, like 55K. You just got to be careful. PDBC, the commodities of the basket, down big today, down 1.5. Of course, a lot of that was oil. Let's see the setup, how similar. So this is different. Oil was a strong performer. It had a double top, but then it broke through. This one it didn't. The 52-week high is in September, and this black line is serving as resistance for right now as of the past 2 days. This has been a battle since April 2nd for this month. I don't love this nearly as much. Big move down today, though. If you can see from the 21 EMA all the way to the lower Bollinger Band, even though it has a small ATR or average true range, that's a big move, which is why we're talking about it today in the video, because it's a multiple sigma move. No biases here. I only just talk about what actually moves in markets according to sigma move. And actually dollars behind the ETF traded. So everything has to be at least a valid market. We don't cover dog, fart, stupid crayon meme or whatever it's called these days. Good flow into this one in terms of the money flow. It's starting to do a better job versus SPY since, say, end of February in terms of relative strength. But I'm not. You could have a mean reversion here to 1420. I don't think that difficult. What is that? 14 30 cents. You get like 1.7% back, but I don't know how much more than that. All right, let's move along. Just putting this on because we talked about this yesterday with the DEA potentially changing the classification of marijuana. Yesterday, on my data provider, I had a momentum breakout signal in addition to a relative strength buy and relative strength breakout signal because this got above any kind of, it got through the highs. So there's your breakout. And then it got above your Bollinger Band here. And this is already big to begin with. Rising 200-day. All that being said, talked about how it looks a little rich around that 11 mark. Technical analysis is not, astrology, doing that in the stars. Otherwise, I'd have Rocco pick stocks. But I was pricing in that level. And what happened? It got to Chembade at 11 all the way down hard to 9.5, down 15%. So that is a big move for this. Give this time. If you get in and you believe in the story and you think the Biden administration changes and all that, you got to stick to the levels. And if that's the case, 925 is not a bad level. So you're getting a better entry. It was up 25%, I believe, yesterday, now down 15%. So plus 10 on the news, essentially, after a 2-day look back. And XOP, this was one I really liked from a couple of days ago. I did not act because I said it could feel like a falling knife, and that's exactly what happened. It got cheaper, down another 2% today. Great looking chart. Look at this thing, overbought, never oversold. A star that's high 162 on April 12th, just a couple weeks ago. This I mean, it looked good yesterday. It looks a lot better today. It looks like it potentially wants to touch this longer term trend and shake weaker hands out. If you do, that's another $5. So it's another 2, 3, 4%. This looks potentially good if you believe in it. I still like it. I will be looking for potential on that. All right. Top. So that was the stuff that moved down: oil, Bitcoin, commodities, cannabis, and oil and gas companies. All right. Top 5 gainers past 5 days. No repeats from other charts. XBI up 5.5% over the past week. That is the best. I'm making that sound a lot today. Professional. More professional. So XBI up 5.5% for the past 5 days, or an average of 1% a day. Today up 3.5%. So really, it just reversed all its fortunes to Dizzle. I'm not going to pull up the chart though because we did that earlier. Hong Kong, the second best long in the market right now. Pretty crazy. Of the past week. This thing was crapola until April 17th, and now it's a star. Definitely resistance here. This is going to flatten out at some point if these prices can advance, but this looks very tired to me. I still think this has a date with 15.5 imminent in a minute, which would be a reduction of 70 cents. Yeah, I think this could slide easily, 4% in the coming, especially with the market, I think, going basing, and this has been weaker. I don't think positioning is going overweight EWH all of a sudden, but it's not a super liquid ETF, $16. And in terms of the average dollar volume, it's not massive. A share or a specific China ETF, you'll find FXI with similar returns. But the way this ETF is constructed, this is the star, up 3% over the past week. Very heavy, hit its head right there. Literally imagine your dumb self jumping in a very small room and hitting your head. That's what happened here. Yeah, this looks done. I would have had exactly that resistance of about just under 25. That's what it did. And this looks like it has a date with about 24 quarter, right around here, maybe a little lower. So yeah, that would be 40-cent reduction, about 2%. Woo! I don't take a breath. CopX. Oh, Rocco, you stink. He I don't know. I think of those greenies. I don't know if they work. I don't think they're going to sponsor this, but I'm not sure they work. Maybe he's not having it the right way. I don't know. CopX used to be a superstar. I mean, literally just peaked 2 days ago. Great looking chart. This is a higher volatility name, of course. In terms of the setup, I mean, I know CopX, fourth best long in the market of the past week. If you can get in around 45.10, I think you probably missed your chance on this go round. But I think this looks like it wants to go to, it wants to break this. I say it wants to go to 48, 49 even. But you need more participation. I think you got to be careful on all your longs after the next couple of days, because I think that 508 SPY level that it's clinging to, I think potentially we're revisiting and saying 507 is doing a level of cling soon. That's what you have to be careful of. Those move, those enter. All right, uranium. Did we look at that chart already? Yes, we did. All right. Top 5 losers of the past 5 days. Bito, we also looked at the chart already, so we're not going to do that, but down 17% over the past 5 days. Just astounding. So basically 3% a day. And it did that today, down 3.5%. So in line. XOP, the second biggest loser, down 5% or down 1% a day. So that is on sale. Oil, you're getting a lot of repeats. I'm not pulling up the charts. Oil down 4.5% over the past 5 days. That is your third biggest loser. And then silver, we did not talk about this one, new one. Silver is the third biggest loser in the market over the past 5 days, down 2%. Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, so I think we talked about this the other day. So like the metals, the store, if you want to get into one of these, don't need the GDX and the SLV and, all this, that, and the other. If you don't think this was just a break, if you don't think this was a false breakout, as it were, considering it never even came to the half of the wick as a close that rest of that week, that's not really confidence instilling, but it's not totally breaking down. I still want to give it time though. Today was up today was up 0.9. The 21 EMA is sliding lower due to the kind of significantly lower prices it's had in the past week. If you get in around 24.75, but it's got to be there this in the next couple of days, I potentially look for a long with a target of 27. But with a tight leash, you definitely have to put stops on that, in my opinion. And then lastly, volatility, the fifth biggest loser of the market. I think this is actually, I'm glad this is on this chart because I think this is just starting to the same thing we said about S&P and that level being 508 turning into 507. Similar with VXX, I think we're going to hover right around $14. It's tough because this is a cheap ETF, so you got our low price. I mean, so you got to get a little bit more specific. So I think we're going to cling to like literally 13.95 ish, and the next target for this is closer to 16. So that's what we are going to be looking at. I don't think you're going to get much lower than this. It had a crazy reversal today. So let me just put this on a 30-minute chart. So as you can see here, pretty much what VXX was worth, 1370 going into the announcement. We've hit all the way to 1309, and then it closed at 1369. So pretty crazy reversal to close positive after being down pretty hardly. All right. Not going to have a video tomorrow. We'll be not going to be at the game, but we'll be out for the game in New York, in Knicks country. So no video tomorrow, but hopefully we'll do a Friday end of week recap. Crazy markets. Let's go Sixers. Yeah.